97.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. I am Sami Wiafe. Tonight I'm here with
Ejubi Wiafe Akente.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
But because it is fluid, because it's not like the regular load shedding, we cannot do weekly publications. And so we can only provide you with a very short interval period.
Energy and Green Transition Minister dismisses calls for a long-term load shedding timetable following recent power outages. Tonight, we hear from the minister who says the power situation will improve in the coming weeks. Also coming up on Eyewitness News.
This decision was neither arbitrary nor politically motivated. It was lawful, evidence-based action taken to protect Ghana's natural resources.
Minerals Commission defends the revocation of mining lease of Adamu's Resources Limited, insisting decision was taken in the national interest. And later, Education Minister directs GTech to withdraw post-retirement contracts for academic senior members in public universities. Stay with 97.3 on Citi FM for more and other stories on 97.3 Eyewitness News. Also coming up in business.
Panelists on Channel 1 TV's quarterly economic outlook acknowledge policy gains but urge deeper policy action.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on Newsroom.com. You can join the conversation with your WhatsApp messages. The number to send it to is 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. We start with our first story, where the Energy Minister, Dr. John Jinapor, today addressed a press conference on recent developments within the energy space. If you're aware, in recent time, the power outages in the country has become unbearable, and many people have complained. It comes on the back of some fire incidents at the Akosombo substation, which has prompted some disruption in power supply across the country. At a press conference in Accra today, the minister says engineers are working to restore power.
Stepping aside of the Gridco MD, yes, I visited the site, I think on Friday, and after receiving the briefing, I was convinced that he needed to step aside. It's in his own interest. You just spoke about conspiracy theory, all kinds of speculations and accusations. In fact, it helps him that when he steps aside and we conduct an impartial investigation, and it's done without prejudice. If you look at my letter on Friday, I stated that without prejudice, I've directed as minister that he steps aside. That is different from taking your normal leave. This is not a normal leave. If it's a normal leave, you can choose to come back. It's a normal leave. We can recall you and say that forgo your leave because we need you, especially in this critical moment. This is a ministerial directive, and so shall it be.
That's the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jinapor, speaking on the decision to suspend or step aside the MD of Gridco. He also spoke about development in the sector and the need for a timetable, which many people have called on the back of the recent development within the power space. He says there will be no need for a long-term timetable or do so time to allow people call it, because this particular situation will be rectified in weeks.
Our engineers have since remained on site. Some of them have stayed there for 3 continuous days without leaving site, working around the clock under very, very extreme and difficult conditions to restore operations. It has been hard work. It has been determination. When I visited the dam site and received the briefing, it was very challenging. Others thought that it was not going to be possible. But I'm pleased to inform you today that through emergency technical interventions and sheer determination, the first generation unit was successfully restored yesterday. This afternoon, as I was about preparing to come for this briefing, I received confirmation from the acting Gridco MD and the VRA MD that the second unit has also been brought and is generating power. I've also been reliably informed that the third unit is undergoing works and that it will be brought on as soon as possible. When we bring on the third unit, it then paves the way that the new technology, the innovative technology that they've never used following this incident has proven to be successful. Then they will bring on the remaining 3 units. Given the situation, I've also directed the MD for the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide regular and timely updates to the public on areas that will be affected. We will not shirk responsibility. We would not deceive you. When I briefed the president told me to be honest and transparent. Yes, this unfortunate incident leaves a gap, and so it will affect some people. And so ECG, under the management of Engineer Julius Pekman, have been publishing regional updates. And in collaboration with the Ministry of Information, we're even going to make it more available for everybody to see what is happening. But because it is fluid, because it's not like the regular load shedding, where you are aware that for a foreseeable period of time, you cannot restore power, we cannot do weekly publications. In fact, engineers are working around the clock. Within this week, they are pushing to restore all the plants back online. And so we can only provide you with a very short interval period. Indeed, this morning, we published a schedule for 6 o'clock to 6 p.m. That's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This afternoon, they've had to review it because one more plant is come on with about 140 megawatts. And so we would not live in denial. When we face challenges, we would tell Ghanaians. We know that, like me, every Ghanaian wants to enjoy uninterruptible supply of power. But I also do know that Ghanaians also appreciate it when we have genuine challenges that is not caused by policy failure or intentional. We'll be honest with you, but we'll also tell you what we are doing to address the situation. And we have since been doing that right from the day I visited the plant and all the periodic updates that we've been providing.
That was the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jinapor. Let's get some reaction from the minority in Ghana's parliament, because they are demanding that government releases a load shedding timetable as the power outages persist in parts of the country. Let's go onto the phone line and speak to Collins Adomako Mensah. He's the deputy ranking on the Energy Committee and the member of parliament for Ifijia Kwabre North constituency in the Ashanti region. Collins, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. The minister says there will be no need for a load shedding exercise because this is not, wide-based enough, because engineers are working to resolve this matter. So there will be no need for a long-term load shedding exercise.
Well, good evening to yourself and to your listeners. I did not get the opportunity to listen to the minister whilst he was having the presentation. But immediately after my meeting, I took time to read some of the reports and also watch some excerpts of the press briefing that the minister conducted. First of all, I'm happy he admitted that we have some challenges, which for me was very fundamental. I've heard some government communicators on other platforms who were trying to downplay the effects or impacts of what we were experiencing. And let me make it very clear. The intermittent power outages did not start just 3 days ago when the unfortunate incident at Akosombo occurred. You will confirm and attest that for the past 1 month, we've been experiencing some intermittent power challenges. So I was excited when the minister accepted, or first of all, made it clear that yes, there are some challenges. That for me is the beginning of how to solve the problem. Once you admit that there are challenges, then we can all come together and see the way forward as to the best way to approach this issue. Number two, the minister says he is not going to give us a long term, and he uses the word long term. But again, during his answer, he also indicated that there's going to be periodic information as to where we are going to have some power outages. That is good. Whether it's long term or short term, what Ghanaians wanted is that we should be given some opportunity of trial information so we are able to plan towards our activities. So if the minister says it's not going to be long term and that ECG is going to give us periodic updates, which is in effect giving us information, trial information as to what is intended to happen in terms of power disruptions, I think it's fair, and I don't have any qualms about it at all. Whether it is long term or short term, what the minority wanted is for Ghanaians to be given proud information so we could plan, so businesses can plan, so SME companies can plan. So I'm happy the minister also is giving that assurance. In fact, he did indicate that ECG had already given some indication that we're going to have some interruptions in certain areas from 6 o'clock to 12, and that immediately one of the units came up. They had to revise that to 9 a.m. That is good. Once you give us prior notice, we are in a better way to plan. So my initial reaction, specifically to your question with regards timetable, is that whether it's long term or short term, at least we are being given some prior notice, which will help in policy planning and business planning.
You say that before the incident at the Akosombo substation, there were, pockets of doomsor or intermittent power supply in major parts of the country. What do you think could have been the problem in respect of this?
The reason that the minister gave was that they had to embark on some upgrade of some of the infrastructure we already have. Of course, if you look at the Energy Commission's Energy Outlook of 2025, don't forget that in 2026, that has not been published. But if you look at the Energy Outlook for 2025, which was published by the Energy Commission, consumption in 2023 was 23,551 gigawatts. And then it moved to 24,688. And then in 2025, it was projected at the time to move to 25,830. Clearly, there seemed to be a certain trajectory of an increased consumption every year. What that meant was that the current infrastructure needed some upgrade. This is not the first time we are having an upgrade in infrastructure. Indeed, in the elsewhile administration, a lot of transformers were changed and upgraded. You recall what happened at the Pokwase BSP station. Kaswa, something was done over there. And I recall very, very well when Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe indicated that they were what we call Doom CAC. I believe I recall that phrase. Essentially, all that he was saying was that they had to turn off the lights to perform some upgrade onto the system because of increase in consumption. So, going through that exercise of changing transformers and increasing the infrastructure is nothing new. Indeed, based on the reports from the Energy Commission, I would have been surprised if successive government, had not taken steps to change or upgrade the system. So that was the reason they gave us. What was surprising to me was that there seemed to be a general light-off situation. Accra was experiencing it, Kumasi is experiencing Cape Coast. We just came from Takrade just yesterday or 2 days ago. Takrade was experiencing it. And so I was surprised. I was not sure if transformers were being changed all over Ghana. That couldn't be the case. But that was the reason that was given to us by the minister. But interestingly, if you recall, when similar reasons were given during the time of the NPP, during the time of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, other ministers of energy, our brothers didn't take kindly to those excuses. And so I'm surprised now they want us to accept so. But be that as it may, this is the reason they've given us. And it was clear a month ago that the lights were not stable until the unfortunate incident happened at Akosombo.
But according to the minister, they are changing over 2,500 transformers across the country. Your administration, we don't know the number of transformers you changed. And so if they are doing over 2,500, it means there's a huge expansion. And so you expect these intermittent power supplies across the country. Because according to...
At this particular point in time, you see, we are having a crisis. We are having crisis management. I'm not too sure if the rhetoric or the response to how people are feeling now is to blame a government that left power 15 months ago. I don't think that should be the path the minister should go. As we speak, people have invested in cold store business. People have brought in their goods. Lights have been off for almost 72 hours. People are losing money. Barbers are not working. Seamstresses are having challenges. I'm not too sure you can blame Nana Dankweku for the current situation that we find ourselves. Don't forget that last year, 2025, the whole of last year, we had a relatively stable power situation. What was the reason given to us? We were told that they were better managers of the economy, better management of the power sector. Just last year, when the system was quite fluid and everything was going on well, I did not hear anybody say that it was because of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo's previous administration. That was why the system was stable. So if today you're having challenges, it is unfair and to be very charitable, very, very unnecessary, in my candid opinion, to be blaming the government that left office 15 months ago when you were enjoying the fruits of a stable power throughout last year. You are attributing that to your government. I don't see why you should attribute the current situation to a previous government.
Collins, thank you very much for your time. Collins Adumako Mensah is the Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee and the Member of Parliament for the Efija Kwabre North constituency in the Ashanti region. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. Remember, you can send your WhatsApp messages to the number 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. This is from Christopher in Peaceland. Says, I want to say a big congratulations to Honorable Junapo, his team, and the NDC government for reviving or upgrading our electricity system. Therefore, I want the entire minority to give the government a chance to resolve this particular matter. Let's just stay on the matter of the energy issue happening in the country and speak to Benjamin Insia, Executive Director, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, also an energy analyst. Ben, thank you very much for your time. The Minister of Energy says so far 2 of the units have come on board and they're expecting a third. So probably in the coming weeks, we should have stable power supply across the country.
So I think he's done well by communicating to Ghanaians the reality, and then measures being put in place to resolve them. What is not done better in terms of his communication is how to carry Ghanaians along in supporting this particular objective. By that I mean giving Ghanaians a load management schedule, some form of timetable, because he himself has admitted that supply is deficit. And if supply is deficit at a peak of 4,125 megawatts or even 4,250 depending on certain days, it means that some areas will be out. So for consumers to be able to plan well, I think that and also support his objective of resolving this particular challenge, I think that the consumer will need a timetable, and that is the best way to empathize with the consumer so that the end users may also be able to plan appropriately. They are also accessing alternative sources of power for their households and business. They will be able to do that, especially at the time that there's too much heat in the system.
His argument is that for this particular challenge, a long-term one may not be right, for want of a better word. But then he's asked the ECG to intermittently be updating Ghanaians, especially in areas where they feel their lights or their power will go off and the likes. So it's a way of communicating what really the situation is than a full-blown timetable for doing so.
Even if it's a timetable for a day, it is a timetable, regardless of how the timetable will be scheduled. I think Ghanaians just want to plan their lives, and if we admit that there's a deficit, that means that demand outweighs supply, so there will be shedding of load. So I think that this semantics of not long-term, short-term, Ghanaians just want to plan their life, right? And if you are a minister that empathizes with the distractions at household level, distractions at firms level, or distractions at other industrial level due to some of these outages or unplanned outages, unpredicted outages, I think the best thing you need to do is to just tell them that, yes, we are in this particular situation. So even if it's a day, if it's a 2-day, by Friday, I think I heard him say that by week, the solution will be fully resolved, or the problem will be fully resolved. So if by then, between today and then Friday, Ghanaians want to plan. Ghanaians know the situation. Probably they may even know the situation more than the minister, because the information started coming in from Saturday, when the PRO of the ministry mentioned that there was a shortfall of 1,000 megawatts due to this particular trip of that disruptions at Akosombo. So we knew, based on our consumption, based on our demand and the current generation as we have it, there's a shortfall. So if the minister wants us to empathize with him by Ghanaians not shouting doom so, the timetable even should have come. Whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it a long-term timetable, whether a daily timetable, whether an hourly timetable, it should have been come earlier than we speak. So I was expecting that when he met the press, he would have mentioned that between this evening, because today some areas will be off, especially in the evening, because our peak demand happens in the evening, because we are residential users of power. So this evening, this area, that area will be off, so that the Ghanaian end user in these communities or in these zones be able to plan their life well. This is what the Ghanaian is asking for. The Ghanaian knows the situation.
Ben, from where you sit, you think that there's more that the government is not telling us, apart from Akosombo substation issue and transformer change? You think there's more to it?
I think the sequence of problems, there may not be more, but I think the government has miscommunicated to us for some time now. Because, one, they look at the sequence of situations, or sequence of events. So there was the first disruptions with heat burner management system of Atwabu gas processing plant, which means that at a point in time we're losing about 150 million standard cubic feet of natural gas. Also means that the thermal plants that were solely relying on natural gas were not getting feedstock, especially they sold their feedstock from Atwabu. So they were losing, and that could cause power generation. So at that time there was a problem. There was no communication, right? They communicated to us as if it has been resolved, so no problem. So the consumer thought that things were okay. Then subsequently we had issues of transformer upgrades even in the night, which also sounds quite problematic for some consumers because of that communication. And we hear that we've lost 1,000 megawatts. So I think that the situation is being exacerbated because of the misconception and miscommunication from the ministry. So when you don't communicate well, you make people assume. And if I assume, I may not be wrong to assume that, yes, there could be a larger problem than what you are telling us today. So I think your problem is communication. The PRO of the ministry and the ministry itself must be have a very robust PR team that manages the information flow from the ministry, and that is very critical. Because if they're able to do that, the Ghanaians will empathize with the reality and then support them resolve this particular challenge. Because if you don't communicate well and we are not even putting the timetable out for Ghanaians to buy in, and Ghanaians continue to face these unplanned, unpredicted outages, they begin to agitate. And that is why in the system today, Ghanaians are agitating. They are not agitating because of doom so, they are agitating because their lives are out based on unplanned announcements. And that's it. So the problem...
Benjamin, just this weekend, the minister announced the suspension of the Gridco CEO and some shake-up at the Ashanti Regional Office of ECG. You think is the best way to address recent development within the space?
In crisis management, we don't take hasty decisions. Because hasty decisions, based on the time, reflect a lot of assumptions and perceptions.
Well, he's a CEO, and what happened is a unit, the unit of Gridco. So there's collective responsibility here. He's the boss. He takes the full responsibility.
He takes the full responsibility, but not at the time of crisis when political, social media influencers are calling names that people belong to certain parties, technical persons belong to certain parties. When you take an action at this time of the situation, you confirm the speculations and the assumptions out there that you took this action because you perceive them to belong to a different political party. And that creates a lot of division in the whole human resource structure in the energy landscape. Because now politicians or the technical persons will begin to align, thinking that, okay, I must belong to MPP or I must belong to NDC. So it may be prudent for you to suspend the CEO, but the time is of critical importance. And I think they got it wrong with respect to this time. Now, the second part is that until the announcement at the presser, I argued yesterday that the transfers or the shake-up in Ashanti region should not have come from the government spokesperson on communication. Because in good corporate governance structure and planning, that particular transfer should have come from the MD or the CE or the CEO of ECG, because these key persons could be line management or operational management or technical guys working under ECG. And government is not directly, and I mean government here means that the presidency or the ministry is not directly their employer. It is the organization that employed them. So ministry could not sit or cannot sit and say, I have done transfers. So I've maintained that the challenge of the sector is communication. Yes, until today they mentioned that there was an earlier letter, and the letter did these shake-ups and other things. So I think that the ministry needs to manage their communication effectively. Otherwise, there will be a lot of challenges that are coming in. Now, the second part I must add is that if you look at the multi-year tariff review order, the capex or the capital expenditure expectation of ECG, they needed about 4 billion Ghana cedis. And this 4 billion Ghana cedis is between 2026 and 2030, which also means that most of the infrastructure upgradement that ECG is likely going to do will span between 2026 and 2030. So we need to also manage the expectations of Ghanaians in resolving the challenge. Being too quick to telling the Ghanaians that, oh, by September we resolve the challenge, oh, by next year we resolve it, is even creates problem. Because the moment next year we are not able to resolve the challenge, Ghanaians will refer you to statements you made in April. So I think that communication is key in resolving some of these crises that we face in the energy sector.
Okay. Ben, thank you very much for your time. Benjamin Insai is an energy analyst speaking to us there. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages from Daniel in Sandema says they should desist from doing politics with the situation and allow the energy sector to work diligently to resolve the crisis. What the country needs now is focus and solution, not noise, in quotes. Wales Yoga says recent claims by the minority concerning the energy minister and the NDC government about the return of Doomsor are unfounded. The NDC administration has ensured constant power supply, and any attempt to undermine this success will not prevail. Their commitment to maintaining energy stability remains unwavering. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra.
News. Be there as it happens.
Electroland Ghana Limited, yeah, Mamo, where you the money job for woman, a sansa munukre, I saw your ninty, yeah, Mamo, a chedia Cassia, a chedia Cassia, ya de Mo, enemy, every Accra, a Quatamali, Ghana Fanenina, Electroland, number 1. Near here is Obeto Samsung, TCL, Media, any Nasco Nyama, Electroland showroom, any anamo si for one more Ghana Fanenina, and also dial star 928 star 8888 hash. Open to Miss Wako register.electrolandraffles.com. And now by now watching your Busumia Kradia UB. Now wait to me and Chedia Kesiapa. A free TVs, ACs, fridges, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, mobile phones, and in your Kikawa, Yedi Mawonkwa. Jumedi and the Caritas platform no Ajiatu. Kaisa in Shisha Kakawa home. Electroland Ghana, rewarding your loyalty the big way.
The blank sense is on your screens
now. Electroland Ghana Limited, yeah, Mamo, where you the money job before woman, a sansa munukre, I saw your ninty, yeah, Mamo, a chedia Cassia, ya de Mo, enemy, every Accra, a Quatamali, Ghana Ghana fanenina. Electroland eye number 1. Ne hiane sa ubeto Samsung, TCL, Media, any Nasco Niama, Ewo Electroland showroom. Any anamo sifa wamu Ghana fanenina. And also dial *928 *8888 hash. Ubeto miswa ko register.electrolandraffles.com. And now boy na watching ye busumia krade yibi. Na wetimi nya chedie kesie pa. Free TVs, ACs, fridges, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, mobile phones, any near kika hwa yedi ma wonkwa. Jumedi NLA Caritas platform no ajiatu. Kaisa inshishe kakra wo ho. Electroland Ghana, rewarding your loyalty the big way.
Charlie, trim I'm nice. I get some serious meeting. Allah, motion. But Charlie, no credit today. Oh, but you relax. Momo day.
Hey, what funny.
Yes, so I borrow small, sort myself out, I pay back. We move. Spot there. Ah, Charlie, you sure say you pay back? Yes, so that anytime somebody else they need them, Momo day. Be like I for can't borrow some more. Hey, you this boy. Don't go there and disgrace yourself. Allah, motion.
Responsible borrowing be the real flexo for today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. Borrow, sort them, pay back. Momo day.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Eyewitness News is also live on our affiliates across the country.
In the Western region, we're live on Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa Beach, 105.5 FM in Sky, 93.5 FM both in Takrade. In the Bono region, tune into Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyane. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Nkaria. In the Volta region, tune in to Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. In the Northern region, we're live on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Taboba. In the Upper East, it's Quality 88.7 FM in Garu and Boga 102.7 FM in Bogatanga. In the Northeast region, tune in to Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigu, and in the Upper West region, we're live on Pupeli 92.7 FM in Wa. Now to some other stories. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has clarified that it has not suspended the relocation of transit containers to Pong. Contrary to earlier reports, freight forwarders at the Tema Port had earlier staged a demonstration over what they described as a unilateral decision by the authority to relocate transit containers to Pong. Speaking to Citi News, the head of corporate communications at GPHA, Delali Seopo, noted that proper engagements were carried out and that the relocation process is ongoing. He added that logistics have been provided to transport freight forwarders to the Pong terminal.
They said, is it possible for GPHA to move one of our account officers to come to the Pong terminal so that in event of payment that they have to make, they don't have to come back to terminal before going to and fro. And we agreed today that, that was a laudable suggestion that they have made. To make it even convenient for them, we have even made a provision for buses to convey its freight forwarders transit agent to the Pong terminal to and fro, at the cost of GPHA. So even at the end of the meeting, we all agreed that, okay, fine, whatever the lapses were, whatever the disagreements were, we were able to agree about how to go about it, which they agree. They left the meeting so excited and happy. So at no point had the operation or the movement of containers to the to the Pong terminal, specifically with respect to transit containers, has come to a halt, or any operation has come to a halt. There's nothing like that. As I speak to you, even last week Friday, there was a divining of containers at the Pong transit terminal.
Head of Corporate Communications at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Delali Seokpo. Away from that, the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate is intensifying efforts to curb the rising incidence of malaria. This comes amid growing concern over persistent malaria cases, particularly among children under 5 and pregnant women, who remain the most vulnerable groups. Speaking at the World Malaria Day event in Kumasi today, the Regional Health Director, Dr. Frederick Adomako-Boateng, cautioned that sustaining the gains made so far will require a comprehensive approach that combines prevention, early diagnosis, and effective treatment.
In Ashanti region, notable progress has been made in malaria control over the past 3 years. Although some challenges still persist. Reported outpatients in the DIMS, the District Health Management Information System, for the past 3 years are as follows. When you look at the total OPD malaria cases, in 2023, we are looking at 70,311. In 2024, we are looking at 59,151. And in 2025, we were looking at 57,864. And then institutional at more than 5 case fatality rate for malaria. In 2023, 0.2%. In 2024, 0.02%. And in 2025, 0.002%.
Ashanti Regional Health Director Dr. Frederick Adomako-Boateng. Now, the former Member of Parliament for Prestia Huni Valley, Kwesi Blay, is kicking against calls for the revocation of Heath Goldfield's Bogoso Prestia mine lease. A group called the Catchment Area Community Alliance demanded the revocation of the lease over allegations of unfulfilled promises. However, speaking to Citi News on the sidelines of a solidarity walk dubbed Heath Must Stay, the former MP said the calls for termination of the lease are premature.
I am more than 2 million % for Heath to stay. As I indicated earlier on, it is too early for us to agitate that they should leave. What is their crime? I am for Heath because one, it's a Ghanaian mining company. Whatever money that they get, at the end of the day, it will stay in the country. Now, our guys need employment. They need to be employed. So why are we asking them to leave? And at this juncture, when fine, if the government also decide, okay, let him listen to the community. They say Heath must go, so Heath go. Who loses? It is we, the community. That is why some of us, we are for Heath to stay. But they should engage the community. They should let us know their working plans. And then from there, we can all go.
Former Member of Parliament for Prestia Huni Valley, Kwesi Blay.
You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Now, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has directed the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to immediately withdraw its letters concerning post-retirement contracts for academic senior members of public universities. The directive applies to letters dated the 30th and October 1st, 2025. The decision follows a meeting between the Education Minister and the leadership of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, which raised concerns over the policy communication. Let's get more on this and speak to Dr. Ebenezer Amano Latte, who is the Vice President of UTAG. Doc, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Tell us more about this meeting you held with the Education Minister today, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening to your listeners. Yes, we had a fruitful meeting with the Minister responsible for education this afternoon. He invited us to have this discussion upon the press statement that the press conference we had some 2 weeks ago, expressing our displeasure over administrative overreach or regulatory overreach of the GTEC. And based on that, the Honourable Minister called us, and we had fruitful engagement this afternoon.
And are you okay with this directive?
Oh yes, one of the issues we had was that GTEC have written a letter. In fact, for academic senior members in universities, post-retirement contract, when a professor retires, the professor is given post-retirement contract. It is part of our conditions of service. And GTEC wrote unilaterally to deny members of UTAG, our professors, this particular privilege, this particular right, because it is part of our condition of service. And that was what we found it didn't sit well with us. So we petitioned the president, and when we didn't hear anything, then we organized a press conference. So yes, we are happy with the first step that has been taken by the Honorable Minister, that one of the issues that colleagues find unacceptable is the fact that they are retiring and what is due them is being denied them. So we are happy with this first step taken by the Honorable Minister. We thank God that this has come to fruition at this time. So going forward, we see what will happen.
What is the second step? If you said this is the first step, what is the second step then?
Well, as you know, the Honorable Minister has put together a 10-member committee to look into the issues that UTAC have against GTEC. So that will be the second step, and we know that it has started very well. The Minister has shown good faith. He has shown that he is a leader, and in this case, he has proven to us that he is not coming to do us in, as they will say, but he is coming with an open mind. He is coming for a discussion, and based on what will happen at the committee level, then we see what will happen. So we are happy with what happened, and we are waiting for the committee to do its work and to come up with this findings.
The statement from the minister says the directive applies to letters dated the 30th of September to the 1st of October 2025. And that means that those who've been written to go will be recalled. Is that it?
I will, for that one, we'll leave that one to the management of the respective universities. You know, the way universities are managed, each university...
I know, but I'm just asking that, is that what it's supposed to be?
No, what the minister has said is that letter that denied our professors and our senior lecturers who retire the right to have a post-retirement contract is retracted, is revoked. Once it is revoked, it means that it no more applies. So I believe that senior members who qualify, when they apply, I believe that management and councils of respective universities will do the needful by granting them their post-retirement contracts.
But look, if someone has, attained retirement age and the person is leaving a university, feels that the person, should leave, why is UTAC concerned that we should bring such people back? Explain to the many Ghanaians who feel that if the person has retired, let him or her retire, then get new people. Is that not the case?
Oh, yeah, it will be nice that we get new people to fill in those vacancies, but the professor who supervised my PhD thesis, Professor Kwame Boafota, a wonderful scholar in political science, such a brain shouldn't be allowed to just go with because he has retired. He supervised my PhD, past on retirement. So it tells you that we need them. And not just mentorship. What they do is that the younger ones who are brought on board, fresh with PhD, they need to be taken through the rubrics of academic writing, through publications and all. And it only comes by experience. And that is why, in the wisdom of our forebears, they said that post-retirement contract so that mentorship will be there. And the supervised students, they teach at the graduate level, they teach at the master's and the PhD level, and they supervise. And this is what we need. They are a store of a wealth of information, of knowledge and of experience. And that experience is brought not just in a classroom, not just with supervision of students, but as convocation. When they begin talking, you know that this is someone who has gone through the mill and knows the university system. And we cannot just say that because the person is 60 years, the person should just go home. And so that is why, in the wisdom of our forebears, they said that there could be and there should be post-retirement contracts where they will be re-engaged to continue until they attain the age of 70, where physically they might not be healthy enough. But we should also bear in mind that it is based on good health and need. Once the university needs the professor who has retired and the professor is in good health, then by our condition of service, such a professor will be brought back to help mentor the young ones. So yes, it is important they are brought back to support us. And there's another thing that thankfully now the government has granted some clearance for recruitment. But it used to be the case that when we did not have clearance for recruitment, it was these professors, they were those who were standing in, who were working to make sure that academic exercise and academic work goes on in the various universities. So yes, they are very important to the life of every university. In fact, in some jurisdictions, it is when the professor
says that he is tired, that he is retired.
Do we then consider a national conversation about the retirement age in public service then? From you being someone from academia, you think we should consider a national conversation?
Well, I can only speak for academia because that is who I am. For academia, I think it is important that we bear in mind. In fact, it is also not compulsory. That is what the public should know. It is not compulsory that you engage after retirement. Once you are healthy enough, you are strong enough, and you want to continue, the University Council can give you the post-retirement contract. So yes, for academia, it is there, and it is something that I don't think, and we don't think that it should be taken away. That our professors and our senior lecturers, they deserve to keep contributing to the development of society in ways such as supervision of theses and mentorship of young academics who are recruited. So for me, for academia, it is important. We shouldn't just ask them to go home just like that. I don't think that it is the right thing. In fact, the best practice in other countries, it tells us that for academia, they are treated differently. Not that they are a special breed of people, no, but because of the nature of the work they do, they are treated differently in this sense, where some even 80, once they are healthy, they are good to go. They are engaged to keep supervising, to keep teaching at their level. And this is what we think that Ghana, we should not be the exception. We should also follow best practices.
Doc, I say a big thank you for your time. Dr. Ebenezer Tay Amano Latte is the National Vice President of the University Teachers Association of Ghana. In a statement just coming in from GTEC, and it says, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission refers to the above mentioned subjects following a meeting between the Honorable Minister of Education and the leadership of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG. The Honorable Minister has issued a directive to GTEC to immediately withdraw its policy directive dated the 1st of October 2025 regarding retirement age and post-retirement contracts for academic senior members of public universities. In compliance with the Minister's directive and pending further consultation with all relevant stakeholders to ensure broad institutional sustainability, GTEC hereby announces the immediate withdrawal of the attached policy directive dated the 1st of October 2025. Further guidance will be communicated following the conclusion of stakeholder consultation, and is signed by Professor Augustine Oklu, Deputy Director General of GTEC, and is signed for the Director General. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's go to some other stories.
Commission has announced plans to prosecute Adamas Resources Limited following the revocation of the company's mining lease. According to the Commission, beyond the administrative action taken, criminal proceedings will be pursued against the company's leadership for alleged breaches of Ghana's mining laws. Speaking at a press conference, the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Isaac Andrew Stando, stated that the Commission is working with relevant state agencies to ensure those responsible are held accountable.
The Chinese nationals got arrested, and the unfortunate thing is Adamus officials went back to build this Chinese national. So I think we don't get the gravity of the situation. If we have arrested illegal Chinese miners on your mine and you go around to go and build them, I mean, what are you telling us as a country? So that is why we said there is also a portion. We've cancelled the lease, but there is that prosecution portion, that criminal portion that we are going to follow. We are working with AG. We will make sure the leaders and the owners of the business are prosecuted under our laws.
Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Isaac Andrew Stando.
Channel One Television has introduced something new, which is the Channel One TV Price Barometer, and is a monthly price tracking initiative by Channel One TV Business News designed to monitor the average prices of essential commodities. Now, it is the act or a tool to track the prices in Accra, providing reliable snapshot of cost trends, inflation pressure, and overall market sentiment. I'm joined in the studio by my colleague Neteli Nete from the Citi and the Channel 1 TV business there to tell us more about this new barometer. Neteli, what exactly is the Channel 1 TV market price barometer all about?
Okay, Sammy, thank you for having me here. And it's simply our way. When I say our way, I mean the business news team, Channel 1 business news team, our way of tracking or checking market prices every month to understand how rising or falling cost of goods is affecting everyday people. We all go to the market every day to buy goods and then also purchase some services. So this is our way to track every month to see how much people are really paying for everyday items.
To get this data, which markets were you sourced?
So strategically, we took we go to the Malam market, the Agbegloshi market, and then Ashiaman, and then the Medina markets. We get the data from these 4 markets.
Looking at our very first data set for April, which prices really stood out?
I would say tomatoes, they stood out because due to the recent ongoing attack of the traders, even though it's a seasonal crop, but the traders are saying that it's not really in season. But when you get onto the market, you see how much people are buying for a tin of tin tomatoes or a paint bucket of tomatoes. Also plantain. This food is not, or this commodity, if I would say, is not in season. But let's not forget that we are also not in the rainy season. It's just starting. But you can see that the prices are a little high. So let's get some insights from data. Yeah.
According to the latest Channel 1 TV market price barometer in the Household Food Staples Index, the average market price of imported rice for a 5 kilogram bag is 73 cedis 50 pesos. Local rice per Olonka averages 46 cedis 50 pesos, while maize per Olonka is priced at 18 cedis 25 pesos. Plantain per bunch records an average market price of 56 cedis 75 pesos. Cassava per a large sack averages 600 cedis, remaining one of the most expensive staples in the basket. Tomatoes per a 4.5 liter bucket averages 122 cedis 25 pesos, while onions average 61 cedis 25 pesos of the same 4.5 liter bucket. Palm oil remains relatively stable at 36 cedis 25 pesos per liter. Eggs per crate average were 51 cedis 50 pesos, while frozen chicken ranges between 33 cedis and 40 cedis per kilogram of both soft and hard chicken.
Okay, so Sammy, this is our report coming when we came back from the market. This is the reports that we brought, and you can see that some of the prices are not very high as of now because of the current stability that we are.
So, Nathalie, breaking down from these numbers, what does this actually mean to the regular Ghanaian?
I would say it's imperative to note that these items dominate household spending, and instantly it helps us to understand consumers what they are really, when you really go to the market, what you are buying. So the numbers are just showing us that things are not very high on the market and not very low. We are just somewhere in the middle there, and it's truly giving us a picture of the economic stability that we face.
Finally, at the end of the day, what do we stand to achieve by tracking this every single month?
First and foremost, to provide early signals of inflationary pressures, because when we track these things and the prices are going high, you know where inflation is taking us. And then secondly, support data-driven economic reporting. It's going to help us so that when we are doing some economic analysis or reporting on everyday issues that the everyday Ghanaian is going through, we have some reporting or analysis or data that we have to support it. And then to also amplify the voices of both traders and consumers. When you go out there, you hear what the traders are saying, what's affecting them, how fuel prices, how energy costs are affecting transportation. That leads into the prices in case they go high.
Nathalie, thank you very much. And Nathalie will bring us the Citi business news on Eyewitness News, which is brought to you by the Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more. Big up.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The World Cup is coming, and this time you're not just watching it, you're living it. Match Experience Hospitality is giving you front row access to football's biggest stage in absolute style. Think VIP stadium seating, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, and priority access. No stress, no hassle, just pure football luxury. This isn't just a ticket. This is the World Cup experience. With over a decade as an official FIFA sales agent, Match Experience Hospitality knows exactly how to turn a match into a lifetime memory. So upgrade your World Cup. Call 055-155-1119. Visit matchexphospitality.com or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, today. Match Experience Hospitality. Don't just watch the game, live it. Match Experience Hospitality is doing this with Absa Bank as its official banking partner and Glyco as your official travel insurance partner.
Hello, my name is Wakadri, and I'm a man of many voices. Some people fall for Pamela.
Good afternoon, this is Pamela. We're revalidating some mobile app account. Kindly confirm your details.
Oh, my other victims who think I'm calling from.
Hello, customer experience here. Your account has been blocked. Please provide your PIN so we can reactivate it immediately.
Others panic and fall for that one. Dear customer, click the link in the SMS we just sent you to upgrade to your ATM services. My favorites are the ones who click first and think later.
Be honest, like play, you could also fall for this. Stay safe. Remember, EcoBank will never call, email or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card or Ghana card details. Pay attention to detail.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
It's time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. Let's settle for our details now. Now, Ghana's macroeconomic environment is showing strong signs of recovery with improving conditions, beginning to restore confidence among businesses. According to the CEO of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaji, recent gains across key indicators are gradually easing pressures on the private sector. He noted that inflation has declined significantly, supported by stronger coordination between fiscal and monetary policy, creating a more stable environment for businesses to operate.
Structures for businesses. So it was difficult for inflation to come down. Now we've seen a very strong coordination. To sustain the level of inflation we have at 3.2, the fiscal is also very key. And a clear case is what you have observed with the issue of the fuel, the crude. I mean, if you had allowed the prices to stay where they are, I think all of us would have been buying fuel at maybe 20 per litre, and that would have pushed inflation to a higher level. So all the gains that would have made would have been reversed, and nothing would have been achieved. But now at least we have some leeway. That is the coordination that I expected that should be continued if you want to sustain this level of inflation. But all the variables for us, they are very key. He spoke about interest rates. I mean, it's one of the factors that every business person we'll talk about. If you are borrowing at 35%, obviously, there's no way you make profit. You either cut down production or you go off completely because you're making losses. You've seen significant drops in that. But exchange rate for us is very key.
That was the CEO of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaji, and he was speaking at the quarterly economic outlook on Channel 1 TV. Now, MTN Ghana says it is intensifying efforts to equip young people with future-ready skills as part of a broader strategy to build a sustainable talent pipeline for the country. According to the telecommunications giant, sustained engagement with students and youth-focused platforms remains central to its long-term social and business impact agenda. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the 2026 Success Africa Summit Grand Finale held at the Central University, Acting General Manager for Sustainability and Shared Value at MTN Ghana, Georgina Asari Fiagbenu, underscored the company's commitment to nurturing the next generation of leaders.
MTN believes in the youth of the country, and we take steps to invest in them.
The reason why we continue to engage students and also to sponsor Success Africa is to ensure that we are building tomorrow's leaders. So the MTN Ghana Foundation, which also happens to be part of our social impact interventions, ensures that students, young people are building skills. So this is not the only thing we do. So for example, we have a digital skills academy which allows us to roll out digital skills for young people all over the country and also across Africa.
That was the Acting General Manager for Sustainability and Shared Value at MTN Ghana, Georgina Sarifiagbinu. For his part, Head of Legal and Reputation Management at Mobile Money Fintech Limited, Papa Say, also assured of the company's continued support for youth-focused initiatives.
From my perspective and from how we are supporting Success Africa is to ensure that students are put on a certain pedestal where mentorship, networking, collaboration is key, especially to how they perceive challenges and how they surmount those challenges. So ours is to come in and supports the students. And what opportunity than for Mobile Money Fintech Limited to join in as a partner.
Papa says the Head of Legal and Reputation Management at Mobile Money Fintech Limited. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more, big up. I am Netali Netiajahu. Up next is Point Blank.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Mr. Insurance claim no. It
has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
No. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying research to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Munsaka.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News. And this is Point Blank. Tonight on Point Blank, we go to the Minerals Commission. The Commission addressed a press conference today where the Commission defended the decision to revoke the mining lease of Adamus Resource Limited and the decision of the Commission as well to prosecute managers of the company. Tonight, my guest is Joseph Iroko. He's the Acting Director of Legal at the Minerals Commission. We'll have a conversation on this matter. Joe, good evening. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Your CEO addressed a press conference today, but before that, over the weekend, the minister had issued a statement announcing the revocation of the license of Adamus Resources Limited. As head of legal, what do you know about the decision to revoke the mining lease?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me start by saying that as a commission, as a ministry, I do not think anybody takes delight in the revocation of anybody's mineral rights. It is something that should be done sparingly and when justified. So the decision that was taken in relation to Adamus's mineral rights as a result as a result of the investigations, as you have already mentioned, that were conducted by our inspectorate division, which found multiple and blatant violations of our law. So,
what are these violations?
Okay, so first of all, if you have a concession or a mineral right, you cannot assign them to a third party without the minister's approval under Section 14 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703. So you must seek the minister's prior approval. The investigation report showed that wasn't the case, because the company was seen to have given out portions of its concessions to a third party without approval. In addition to that, even the sites that were given out for mining without approval were not even areas that other moves currently was operating under. So so you can have a concession. The concession can be very large. You don't mine every portion of it at the same time. So as you mine and you need to do extension to your mining operations, you have to declare what you call a mining area. And there's a procedure that must be followed to legally sanction any mining in that new area. So when you extend it, other things have to be done. You must get necessary permits to be able to mine there. The report found that these third parties that were mining on the concession of the company didn't have, first of all, as I mentioned, the ministerial approval.
Yeah.
And they were mining in areas outside the company's declared mining areas. Usually when you declare mining area, it presupposes, or you would have shown evidence that you have done resource estimation. You know that that area is viable for mining, and you get all the necessary permits. That wasn't done in this case. So they were just mining without authority. They were mining in other portions that are not sanctioned for mining per the law. That is, and then of course the issue of Chinese nationals who were unlawfully found on.
The company had brought in Chinese nationals to come and mine?
So the company admitted to the inspector division officers who went on the investigation that these were people who were brought onto the concession by the so-called third party that was supposed to be mining for them. So it doesn't matter who brought them. The owner of the concession has as much an obligation as a third party who is supposedly or purportedly working for that mining company on the mine site. So whatever happens, you cannot say that maybe I didn't bring them, therefore I have no responsibility. In the event, the evidence shows that they were actually aware of that. So those are the key findings of the report. And of course, when you mine unlawfully, you don't have the operating permit, you don't have a rental permit. Obviously, will do substandard mining because you are not under control. So you can imagine, and we show those pictures today, the degradation that has been caused to the area, and of course, the potential loss of revenue to the state as a result of unlawful mining. So those, in brief, are the causes for the revocation.
Did you give the company opportunity to respond to the outcome of the investigations?
I have just told you that we have an investigation report in which the company's general manager, the company's mine manager, and other officials were engaged by the inspectorate division. They have made confessions or admitted to do what I have.
I'm asking because the company issued a statement.
Yes, I am coming to that. That's what I'm addressing. So I'm saying that the company has a general manager on site. They have management on site. These were the reps of the company. They were engaged. And they gave their side of the story. Unless you are saying that is not giving hearing to the company. The company had reps there who had power to speak on behalf of the company, and they were engaged. So hearing was given to them. The issue of hearing, maybe I should ask you what you mean by hearing. Have you explained to you what I just explained? Maybe
I'm basing my question on this because the company issued a statement saying that they were not given a hearing, they were not even notified of some of the issues raised in this report, and were not even told of your decision to revoke the lease. That is why I'm asking you if they were given a hearing.
I have just told you that the company
they were given a hearing,
and the report shows that. See, now beyond that, you know of the Estin Cubic case, right?
Yeah.
That case is noted for the issue of lack of parliamentary ratification. But beyond that, it also spoke about the power of the minister to cancel or revoke a mining lease or mineral right when there is evidence of statutory violation. In that case, and I'm not saying this because I'm enjoying the conversation, but these questions are being asked. Yeah. So there is the law. Ordinarily, when you breach provisions of your mining lease, the law requires notices to be given to you. But in this case, you are found to have done unlawful mining. You brought Chinese persons onto the place. If we give you notice, what are you going to remedy? My brother, tell me, what are you going to remedy? It's not like you refuse to pay a fee. In which case, you'll be given the chance to pay. But you have violated the law. So when you say, okay, now give me a notice that you breached the law, what are you going to be remedying? Because you've already committed the act. And these are acts that are punishable under Act 995, which is a criminal offense. So what are you going to remedy if you give a notice? That is assuming that they are still giving a notice. But I'm saying that they were engaged. We can have a debate as to what notice means in this case. By law, it's very clear. When they say notice, the court will not look at the form, but look at the substance of whether you'll be engaged in giving prior notice. But putting that aside, I have just referred to you to case law. That makes it very clear that the minister has the right to revoke a mineral right that was given without authority, or where these rights are vitiated by illegalities. It's in the STQB case. So the power of the minister to cancel without notice based on in the public interest and evidence of blatant violation of the law has been, if you like, supported by the STQB.
So for you, you are going by the law. The minister is going by the law, and the commission is going by the law.
Yes.
But the laws of natural justice will also argue that in the event of such a huge decision, you should notify the company of it. Was the company notified that they were going to be, their license was going to be revoked?
When the notice came, that was the notification to them.
That was the decision the ministry and the commission has taken.
Yes, and I'm just giving you the basis for doing that. And I refer to you to the STQB case. I mentioned in that case, the issue was, apart from ratification by Parliament, the issue was whether we had followed sections 12 and 13 of our law. In that case, per the law, when a person applies for mineral rights, and it is Minerals Commission processes the application, and is of the view that the application merits approval of the minister, the law requires you to submit your recommendation to the minister, who will now grant approval, and the law further requires that approval to be submitted back to the Minerals Commission, who then notify the applicant. In that case, the court found that those sections were violated. The argument put up by the company against, so the minister used that as a basis for quashing the mining leases of STQB, because he has cited lack of ratification and violation of statutes, as I've mentioned. So when they went to court, the High Court ruled in favor of the company, although he found that they hadn't complied with the law. Then the Republic went to the Supreme Court for a statutory right. And the court said, once statute has been violated, anything done under that statute is vitiated by an illegality. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that in that case, the minister also wrote to the company and said, I am revoking your mining lease because you violated the law.
Okay.
And they went to court to challenge it. But the court said the minister has the power to ensure conformity with statutory and constitutional provision. I am saying that based on that, the notice the minister served on the company for violation of the mineral rights is grounded in law, as supported by the case law that I just quoted to you.
What are the options available to the company? Now that you revoked the lease, is that all? The company can't do anything about it again?
Well, first of all, let's understand that minerals are the property of the Republic. Okay, so the state owns it on behalf of the people of Ghana. So once it's taken away from you, your right obviously ceases. Termination of a mining lease is a capital punishment as far as the money is concerned. That's the end of it for you. But of course, if you are aggrieved, I do not think nothing stops you from speaking to the commission and for the matter of the minister. I am told there's a meeting being organized tomorrow in relation to the company wants some engagement with the regulators. That can be done, but I don't know what the outcome of it will be. But as we speak now, the money receipts have reverted to the state because they've been cancelled. So as we speak now, legally, the company doesn't have any right. Of course, they can go to court like SC Cubic did. And when you go to court, then we all go and see how it will pan out in court.
What happens to their concession?
I've just told you that the concession is not yes, it's for the state.
Yes, I know that. But then they were on it, and then now the license has been revoked. Is the state keeping it, or the state also going to give it to another company to operate? That's what I want to know.
Okay, right now it's a producing mine in the sense that it is producing. So therefore, it's the state's obligation to ensure that it continues to run, and then the workers' employment are secured. If you recall, the minister made that very clear in his statement. So did the Minerals Commission. So that is uppermost in the mind of the regulatory authorities. So right as we speak now, it's still running in terms of producing, but the minerals are the property of the state. So of course, if the company has any issue with whatever in terms of assets on the ground, you're always available, free to raise those issues for the appropriate solution to be had. So yeah.
And then again, the issue of we hear that military personnel have been deployed to the company premises for what we do not know. Are you in the know of that? Why was military sent to the concession side, the company premises?
The military was sent there to secure the concession. Government has
secure it against who? Secure it for who?
So usually when there is this revocation, there are a lot of things that may happen. If there is no apparent evidence of somebody in charge, illegal miners may take the chance to want to overrun the concession. Already there's a bit of illegal mining challenge there. So it's a need for the state to secure the asset as it has reverted to it. Once you take over the asset from a mining company, it's like your house, you're the landlord, you eject a tenant. Beyond that, the security of the building or property is yours. You must ensure that the sanctity, the integrity of the property is protected. And that's all that is being done with
Is it not too sudden that you revoke it, let's say a Saturday, then a Sunday, armed military personnel are already there guarding it? Isn't it so?
I guess that shows efficiency.
Efficiency on the part of
the state authorities to secure the mine site. I just mentioned to you that is a running mine. It's producing. It's producing. Although the state has taken it over, production is going on. If you leave it without any security, we'll be back here and you'll be asking me, why didn't you take the chance to protect the place? Why did you leave it for illegal miners to overrun it? Why didn't you take all the precautionary measures when we know we have revoked the mine? I think we asked me that question if the reverse had happened. So this is the state just being efficient and being proactive, because a mine site is a huge place. It needs around the clock protection. So once the state takes over, it becomes the state's obligation to secure it, as it would have been the company's obligation when it had a mining lease to secure it against any form of vandalization or encroachment.
What about the locals in there? The local opinion leaders, are they in support of this decision of the ministry and the Minerals Commission, the chiefs, traditional leaders, and the local residents? Are they in support of this decision?
Well, I haven't spoken to any of them.
But at least you get reports from your people on the ground.
So I'm just being frank with you. I have not spoken to any of them. I don't know what their opinions at the moment. But what I know is that government has revoked, and government has the authority to ensure the mine is secured. That's what I can speak to at this moment.
Have you considered issues of job losses?
Of course, and I've just said that the minister in his press statement was mindful of that. So did the Minerals Commission. So we said that every lawful job will be secured.
Lawful job, you mean?
So the company has staff. They are working. And like I said, what has happened is the asset reverting to the state. It doesn't mean the operations have stopped. So those people will still go to work. In fact, this morning we saw some Citi report that workers were massing at the gates and they couldn't enter.
Yes. When there were pictures and videos.
When the report got to our attention, in fact, I was the one who even drew the CEO's attention to it when I saw the report on Citi FM, and we immediately called the security guys and the regional officers to allow the workers to go about their duty as normal as possible. So the work is still ongoing. Right now, there is no evidence that the lives or the employment of those who are working there is under any threat. And government is committed by the statement released by the minister, and of course the Mirrors Commission as a regulator is committed to ensuring that in this whole situation, no innocent person suffers from any unintended consequences of the revocation.
Your CEO announced at a press conference today that you intend to liaise with the AG to begin prosecution. Prosecution of who?
Okay, so my CEO is referring to the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, Act 995. That law enhances sanctions for illegal mining activities, whether by small scale or large scale mining companies. And at section 99, 1 and 2 of that law, if I'm not mistaken, there is punishment for anybody, first of all, who operates in a mine site without license, or anybody who procures or facilitates the participation of non-Ghanaians in a mining operation, as has been reported. Okay, so these are serious offenses that carry very serious custodial and fines if the person is convicted. So the CEO is just referring to that law, and of course will make the appropriate evidence available to the AG, who now decide on what next to do. So that's what he was alluding to.
Exactly, that's what he said when he addressed the press conference today. Okay.
No, you remember that, I don't know whether you said this, but in the Wuntumi case, one of the charges that he's facing in court is the giving of a concession without ministerial authority.
Without authorization.
It's the same law that I'm referring to. So it's a serious matter.
So if it's going to go to the legal process, it's the same way that it will go.
So that's a potential charge that could be brought if, as we have said, that you have assigned a portion of the concession without ministerial authority. I'm saying that is a similar charge that he is facing in court. So it's one of the options that will be available. But, we are on the AG. We'll simply make the evidence available to the AG. And I'm sure the AG in his legal wisdom will take the appropriate step. But I just want to highlight the fact that those are serious offenses. So the company and the directors, indeed anybody who is found to have been part of the illegality, so to speak, obviously may have some questions to answer.
So look, I have in my hand a statement issued by lawyers of the company, and they are not happy about this revocation. And it's a long statement. I'll just read portions. They are categorically denying everything that your boss said at the press conference and in the statement. And they says that for the avoidance of doubt, our client denies in total the allegations said to underpin the purported revocation. These allegations are woefully untrue. The company still stands that indeed what your decision or what you came up with is not the fact on the ground. It's different from what you're saying.
So because they have said so, they are right. Is that what you are saying?
I'm not just saying, I'm just showing to you,
yes,
a statement from the company. I'm not saying they are right.
Yes. I am very careful not to have this exchange. You know why? Because like I mentioned at the beginning, it's not a nice thing to lose a manual right. So I'm very careful not to appear to be basking in the pain of somebody's situation. So I'm very careful. So although I'm speaking for the regulatory body, I'm also very careful to be sure that I don't engage in a back and forth over this matter. Why am I saying this? Because obviously, if the client admits to what the reporter said, that is easy evidence for prosecution.
Okay.
Is that not the case? So you normally expect that they will not ordinarily say this. But we also believe the integrity of our report and the evidence available. That's all I can say.
Integrity of your report.
And the evidence available.
If the company decides to go to court on this matter, is the commission ready for it?
Again, if we get there, we'll cross that bridge.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, they have not gone to court.
Yeah. I'm saying if they decide.
You are inviting me to speculate. And I don't want to speculate. You see, during these moments, emotions are high.
Okay.
All things are being said. And it's natural. I'm saying that if that bridge is crossed, we'll know what to do. But again, I must mention that we believe the integrity of our report, and this decision wasn't made lightly. Look at all the implications involved.
We have a few minutes to go, but let me find out. Is it the only company you investigated or you are investigating? Are there other companies you are also investigating?
I think my CEO, in his public statement today, was very clear that he should send clear signals to whoever is not obeying the minerals and mining regime. So on a regular basis, the Spiritual Division does investigations that are considered by the Minerals Commission. So all I can say is that if there should be any other that will warrant this kind of missionary intervention like it's being done, it will be announced to the whole world.
How do you conduct your investigation? The commission wakes up and says, "Oh, we are going to investigate it," or you do it based on complaints or reports brought to you? How do you do it?
Well, sometimes complaints come. Sometimes our inspectors.
Complaints from who? Locals?
Stakeholders, locals, any other person at all. The fact is that anybody who observes violation of a law has that duty to inform the appropriate authority. That's number one. So let's not confuse that obligation on citizens. Secondly, the Inspector Division, by their power, conducts routine investigation and sometimes special investigation, either based on their own volition or based on intelligence reports. So there are a number of ways which ultimately leads to us trying to find out infractions on various mine sites and by stakeholders.
How do you react to people who ask that if this is politically motivated?
Well,
because it has come up.
Well, it has come out, and you know, in Ghana, nothing is beyond or speculation. So that's my first reaction. But I am speaking to the evidence I have seen and the law. So if there's political motivation behind it, I haven't seen the evidence because, like I said, I've seen the investigation report, I've seen the evidence that has been gathered, and that's all I can speak to. I cannot join the bandwagon of speculation. I don't have that evidence to support that assertion. And I think that CEO made it very clear today that that cannot be the case at all in the light of the evidence that our Inspector Division has got on the issue.
Away from this, let's talk about illegal mining. Is the Commission doing its best to address the issue of illegal mining?
Obviously, the answer is yes.
What are you doing? Because still illegal mining is ongoing.
So
Galamsey is going on.
So the Commission on a regular basis alerts and informs the state apparatus within our operational areas of illegal mining activities. Don't forget that we don't have the power to prosecute on our own. We rely on us giving information to the appropriate agencies for their decision and action. So that responsibility we discharge on a regular basis. But we don't have the power to basically prosecute. So we inform appropriate agencies, we gather a report, we designate to the appropriate agencies for their action. That's all I can say about that.
Will you ask the AG to give you authorization to prosecute?
As a matter of fact, if you look at one of our LIs, LI 2182, there's a provision in there that can allow, by which we can request the AG to give power to the Inspector Division to prosecute certain form of infractions in the law, except that it's not as extensive as to allow us to prosecute, for instance, an illegal mining activity. So maybe going forward, we want to see how we can amend the law. But sometimes to our work, I think we are a lot to do. That if we collaborate effectively with other state agencies that are in charge of prosecution, I do not think we should necessarily have to add the power of prosecution to our mandate. Collaboration in an effective one, and that can help in dealing with some of these challenges.
Finally, before we go, I'm told that per your law, you have the discretion to suspend instead of revoke a license. Is that the case?
Yes.
Why didn't you revoke? Why didn't you suspend this one?
So
the offenses were too great.
So you will see again. I'll refer you back to the public statement and that of our CEO, the statement by the minister and our CEO, persistent and deliberate breach of the law. So it's the gravity of the decision that determines how the commission will comment to the minister on what steps to take. And this is an issue involving illegal mining, issue involving foreigners on a concession in areas where they should not be. If you don't think this is serious enough, then I don't know what else will be more serious than this.
Joseph Iroko, the acting director of legal at the Minerals Commission, my guest tonight on Point Blank. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, sir.
And that's how we draw today's curtains down on edition of Eyewitness News. That came to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe. Earlier you heard Ejubi Wiafe Akentin. Natalie Ajaho brought you our business news. The show is produced by Kwabna Wilson, Beverly London, and Julian Odami, with technical assistance from Desmond Nyakon. So we'll come your way again. May the good Lord be with us all.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.
Electroland Ghana Limited, yeah, mamo, Achedi Kesio. Where ya de my dready for woman ye didn't. A sansa munukre de aso ye ninti. Ye mamo, Achedi Kesia. Achedi Kesia, ye de mo enemy. Every Accra, a quartamali. Ghana fanenina. Electroland, a number 1. Near here is over to Samsung, TCL, Media, any Nasco Niama, Electroland showroom. Any anamo si for one more Ghana fanenina. And also dial *928*8888# Ube to Miss Wako register.electrolandraffles.com. And now by now watching your Busumia Kradia UB. Now wait to me and Yachedia Kesiapa. Free TVs, ACs, fridges, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, mobile phones, and in your Kikawa Yedi Mawonkwa. Jumedi and the Lekaritos platform no Ajiatu. Kaisa in Shishe Kakawa home. Electroland Ghana, rewarding your loyalty the big way.
The Blank Sense is on your screens now, and trust us, you don't want to miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. for all the family drama, unexpected twist, laughter, and everything in between. Missed an episode? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Catch the repeats Fridays at 11:30 a.m., Saturdays at 7 p.m., Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 3 p.m., Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Stay logged on Channel 1 TV and never miss a moment of The Blank Sense. The Blank Sense is a Channel 1 TV production, and it's proudly sponsored by Out Insecticide, Nasco Electronics, Lizzie Shuto, and Everpack.
Turn up your sound experience with the We Hear speakers by Lovi. From the sleek We Hear 1 to the powerful We Hear 2. And now the premium We Hear Pro. Fully endorsed by Kylian Mbappe. This is not just a speaker. It's a flexible, high-performance outdoor Bluetooth speaker built to bring your music to life anywhere. With up to 100 watts of music power, you get bold, immersive sound wherever you go. All available in stylish standout colors. Now the good news. From April 20th to May 20th, grab yours at a special discounted price. The We Hear 1 now at 400 Ghana cedis, the We Hear 2 at 900 Ghana cedis, and the premium We Hear